This is no doubt a tragic loss and frustrating and confusing for a lot of people as investigators focus on finding the person or people responsible. Former CIA officer and FBI Special Agent Tracy Walder is with us this morning. Will it be critical in this early stage of the investigation for detectives to determine if this was a random act of violence or if perhaps he was targeted because of who he is and perhaps his wealth?
Well, thank you for having me, Marni. I actually do think that's pretty critical because the reality is public safety. That's something that we have to think about. And if this was targeted, then perhaps, there's not as much of a risk to the safety of the public. Also, if he was targeted, do we need to be looking at other folks within his circle that could have been targeted too? So I do think that that is going to be one of the first things that they are going to have to kind of parse out in regards to this.
So there's a lot that we don't know. Detectives are keeping it close to the vest. We're hearing there is potentially some surveillance video near the time where Bob was running down an alley asking for help. It was 2:30 in the morning or so. What are the reasons that detectives wouldn't release that to the public? Might it not be helpful for people to see exactly what was going on?
So I actually think it's the reverse. I think the problem with that is they could be tipping their hand if they do have any suspects. And if a suspect is on that video camera, which I do believe that digital evidence is going to be very helpful in this case, as we know, San Francisco is a densely packed city. There are a lot of surveillance cameras, and we don't want the public right now knowing if the police do have a suspect in mind, because it could cause that suspect to go further underground and make it more difficult to identify them.
Because it's a high-profile case, somebody that a lot of folks knew, does that put more pressure on investigators to come up with some answers soon?
I think it does, but I think as a whole, it's putting pressure on the city of San Francisco, if you look at it in its entirety, because what we're seeing, and I know Alex mentioned this before the break, there seems to be sort of a discrepancy in terms of San Francisco's crime rate on paper per the FBI's uniform crime reporting data, and then people's lived experiences within the city. And so putting this under a microscope right now is problematic. Homicides are up about 17% in the city. And really what they're having an issue with is this recidivism rate of violent offenders who are being released from prison and then having to go back. That's up to about 70%, and that's incredibly high. And so I think that's going to be important in this case as well. And the fact that it is a high profile individual really kind of shines a spotlight really on the city.
And isn't it more evidence that crime has no zip code? I mean, this is just another example in an affluent area or not. It happens. It's 2:30 in the morning.
Crime has absolutely no zip code. I think you are spot on with that. And especially if we look at this area, this is an area that I think within San Francisco does have a lower violent crime rate in general. It's frequented bars and restaurants and businesses. And so truly, crime really knows no boundaries. That's the reality, and we have to be vigilant wherever we are.
It was interesting. My colleague Ashley Banfield was talking about this on her show last night, that there have been several other deaths, 5 or so in the last year or more, of tech executives, those tied to cryptocurrency. In a case like this, that has to be something that detectives look at. I will say, with the caveat, none are connected, all are different circumstances, but is it just a coincidence?
No, I think you're right, Marni. Like you said, we don't know that any of these are connected. We don't have any of that information. But I do think in a situation like this, where it is an area that does have, for the most part, a relatively low violent crime rate, this is a tech executive, this is a billionaire, this is someone that is a public figure. I also think if you look at the type of crime, stabbing sometimes tends to be more personal. However, in the intent, in this crime, if the intent was robbery, then a stabbing could make sense here. But I do think that's something that we have to look at, particularly if we're seeing sort of an increase in this. As you mentioned, there's been 5 in the past, just in this year alone.
Yeah, I think about the families first in every one of these situations. How closely are detectives working with the family to piece together any potential digital evidence that may exist, the path and behavior of the victim leading up to this horrible crime?
I absolutely think of the families. I think in this case, I think his digital footprint is going to be incredibly important, and I would imagine that they are working very closely with the family to gain access to all of his personal devices that he had on him, retracing his steps. That's going to be incredibly important because then that's going to show them what city surveillance cameras they should be going to really identify who this person may be. So I would imagine that they're working incredibly closely with the family at this point.
And Bob Lee, by all accounts, people who knew him say he was a wonderful leader and person, a family man, husband, and father to two. It is just tragic. Tracy, as always, thank you for your perspective.
Thank you, Marni.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.